warning. This is my first time streaming this. They came out of closed beta today. This game also currently is not optimized to be played on a computer. It's optimized for a touchscreen, so I'm currently playing inside of an Android emulator. I've played a few games inside of the Android emulator. It works fine. It works just as well as on my tablet or my cell phone, so I've mostly been playing this on my phone. How's my audio level before we start? Is my audio good versus the game sound? Because I'm streaming from my upstairs computer because Christy's using the basement where my main rig is. Audio is good. Can't hear the game at all. Okay, I'll turn the game up slightly. Let me know if that's overbearing. All right. So, first things first. The game sounds are just like sound effects. There's a link that we're going to be clicking a lot. The quick play rules for the Warhammer game fit on 2 pages, so they're really condensed. Yeah, this microphone is super low quality. I need to get a second decent microphone for the unit upstairs here. I'll pull all the levels up here real quick. SCG Con bits, thank you, G-Goat, I appreciate that. Alright. And another thing that's a little bit weird, so this game is optimized on mobile to play vertically on your phone or tablet, so I kind of have it cut up, so normally your hand on your device appears at like the bottom of the screen, but to optimize and get the most within, so you see the most game here, I've made it so my hand is underneath the chat here, so I've cut it up a little bit to optimize the spacing here, basically. This game is both easier to pick up than Hex, but it's also much further than Magic much further from Magic than Hex is. This game is just opponent declined. All right. Now we got another one real fast. I have a daily mission to play order cards. Order cards are mostly what I've been playing anyway. So we're gonna play. This is an aggro deck. This deck's actually pretty cheap to put together too. It only plays 3 rares, and there's actually a common card that you can replace one of the rares with here. Yeah, so like when you play it on a tablet or a phone, you hold the device like this. So I'm going to just be giving a rundown most games. So basically, how the game works is each player has 4 what are called, these are each called a lane, and in each of your lanes you place a champion. So I'm going to go ahead and place this champion here on one of these lanes, and the champions have both rules text and what are called 4 different quests. And the quests are these things in each of the corners here, and basically you every time you play a card out from your hand, your card has a particular type. How much of a Force tutorial is? I'm actually not sure how much of a Force tutorial the released game has. The first closed beta version I played had very minimal, but it has practice AI games as well. The actual rules to read through how to play are very short as well. So they play their champions out. So this champion's actually just vanilla, it just has flavor text there. And this champion has a bunch of rules text here. Has something to do with, it says when this thing removes one of my units, they get to redeploy something from their discard pile. So what are the lanes? The lanes, the cards in this game have positioning text on them. So for instance, Protector Prime here is one of my units. This card, this champion says, the opposing unit that he is across from, their units or creatures, whatever you want to call them, deal 1 less point of damage. So basically, any creatures or units that my opponent plays on this lane are going to deal 1 less damage to me because they're across from my Protector Prime. Same deal here. This guy, this is another Protector Prime. So I'm playing 2 copies. I have only 2 different champions. I have 2 copies of each. This unit, for instance, it has a spacing condition as well, so you can see it's lit up green on either side, so that means it affects its allies. So this says, while this is disengaged, which means while it doesn't have a thing in front of it, the allies on either side of it deal damage with what's called rend, which means they get past anything that would prevent damage. So the resource system in this game is really unique and interesting. I like it. You don't draw a card at the start of your turn. Instead, you get to do 2 things every turn, and one of those 2 things that you do could be drawing a card. So I can either play 2 cards, I could draw 2 cards, or I could play 1 card and draw 1 card. So I'm actually going to get the ball rolling by playing 2 cards here, because I'm an aggressive deck, so this deck kind of gets going quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and play out... I'm going to play out my Decimator Paladin here, and my... Apparently, I was taking too long for my opponent. Alright, so I guess I'll have to play more quickly. 2 months already, long live Hogolandia. Thank you for the 2-month resub there. Well, my quest went up real quick there. Alright, let's try again. Maybe I should have found someone to play with beforehand. Thanks for the 2-month resub there. Welcome back. Alright, I'm going to play a little bit faster this time so my opponents don't leave. It is a win con. So there isn't a ranked gameplay yet. The ranked gameplay is going to start later this month, so just like a casual gameplay mode. So I've definitely had that before. I was taking too long and my opponent just left because they're not losing anything, right? Like there's no entry fee or anything like that. So the first thing that happens is the champion placing like we just did, and then my opponent conceded because I was taking too long. So they got dissipated. So it chooses the player that goes first at random. So the first player, and you can see this lights up the adjacent lane, so it shows like where its effect has power. So the thing how the champion placing works is the first player places 1 champion, then the second player places 2, then the first player places 2, and then the second player places 2, and then the first player places their last one, because there are certain units that have advantages when they're placed across from different specific types of things. No, I'm not streaming from my normal computer. You'll notice I've got curtains to my right. So Christy plays D&D downstairs on Wednesday nights, so that's where my streaming setup is. So my old streaming computer is upstairs, and that's what I'm playing from right now. So we'll place our units out here. You'll notice all 4 of mine have this red symbol in front of them. Red represents a combat unit. There's 2 types of champions. There's either combat champions or there's spellcasters. And you can see there's also some type like this one that my opponents played here, which is a split of both. And that impacts the types of cards that you can play on their lane. Yes, Sensor, I figured that would be a good cheat sheet. So we're going to draw our opening hand here. I'm going to play a little bit faster so that way our opponents don't get salty and leave. So I'm going to go ahead and start by playing out the Hurricane Raptor here. So when this card comes into play, it does its effect on the first corner here. So this thing says it deals damage to my opponent equal to the current corner that it's on. So it does 1 in the upper left. And then you can see when I played this unit out, it finished the first quest in the corner of this thing here. And this next symbol here says play an ability. So I played an ability here, which completes the next thing in its quest cycle. So when you rotate through all 4 quests on your unit, you then get to complete the blessing that's underneath it, which is like a super powerful card that gives you some kind of valuable bonus. At the start of each player's turn, all of the cards with the circles in the corner, they rotate. So this card rotates to its second corner, and now it does extra damage. Oh, I didn't read what their champion does. Reduce damage received from highlighted enemies equal to the number of allied risen units. Oh, so they took 1 less because this was there, and then this reduces damage. Okay, so I don't really have anything that I really want to play out this turn. This reduces damage on the first 2 corners and then deals damage on the third. So I'm just I can just pass my turn and draw 2 cards here. The blessings are randomly distributed, which they are, but during deck building, you choose which 4 go into your deck. So you don't get to know which positioning your blessings go in, but you know which 4 total that you're working on. It was really unfortunate that they were able to prevent both of my damage between their champion power and this card here, because if you'll notice, my third corner on this guy has a damage symbol on it, so I need to deal damage on this lane to complete the third corner. Yeah, it's made by the same company as like Seeker's Nivik, so it has some similar mechanics to that. Yeah, when it rotates off, so you'll notice when that card started my turn, it was on its last corner, so it got discarded. It's actually going to be kind of hard to complete damage on this unit because of that. That's probably a bad move on my part. There's 4 champions, 4 blessings, and 30 actual cards in your deck. So I'm just going to go ahead and pass my turn here. I'm kind of looking for another action to play that could deal damage potentially here. So different cards do different things based on what their corners are. So like this card, for instance, says when it gets to its first 2 corners, gain health, and then its 3rd corner draws 2 cards. This card gains you health when you play it, it gains you a health the next turn, and then it draws you 2 cards afterwards. This card, what does it do? So the first corner, they look at the top 4 cards of their deck, and they rearrange them. And then the second corner, an X, means it does nothing, and then the third corner means they draw 3 cards. The red shield with the white marking means you have to play a specific type of unit. So if you look here, this unit that I have here is an Aelf, so this wouldn't complete the Stormcast quest, but this is a Stormcast unit, so you need to have a specific type of unit. So this is wiggling to show me what my opponent's currently doing. So they're currently rearranging the top 4 cards of their deck. If this rotates all the way, they're going to get to draw 3 cards. Alright, so they did some damages there. So this thing does 2 damage on its first corner, 2 damage on its second, and 1 damage on its last one. So I'm going to go ahead and play out this barrier guard. And you can see here it lights up the space in front of it and the other 2. So this unit here, you can see it kind of shows me as I mouse over which lanes it's going to affect. So when I play this here, it's going to prevent damage from this lane and this lane. If I wanted to play that, I'm not sure that I do, though. I'm going to go ahead and play my Paladin here, which you can see completes my first quest because it plays a unit. My hand's actually pretty bad this game. On the first corner, the X means it does nothing, and then this thing does 1, 2, and 3 damage, so eventually it does a total of 6 over the course of 3 turns as it spins through. No, there are no cards that you play explicitly on your opponent's turn. So the back and forth is kind of predictable. Yeah, Age of Sigmar Champions, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions. That's a big one. So this does nothing, nothing, and then eventually deals 7. So I'm probably going to want to either destroy this or prevent. Rotate the highlighted spell 2 steps forward. Well, that's pretty good. So they played a buff here that rotated all of their spells 2 steps forward, which completed this and the other one. So basically removed my ability to kind of respond to it. How do you destroy a card? So this card here, for instance, Triumphant Smash, can remove a highlighted spell or unit. So I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and play my Piercing Shot here, which deals 3 damage off of an ability card. So that'll complete this damage quest on this lane. And then you see it rotates to its last corner here, and I'm going to go ahead and put a Decimator Paladin on this lane, which will complete the last quest. And then my Blessing is going to go ahead and flip over here. And now this Blessing says whenever a unit either in front of or on either of the sides of this deals damage, it deals increased damage based on the corner that this card is on. Does that mean we have 10 people? I assume that means we have 10 people. So my opponent has played Devour, which gets rid of one of my units, which is smart. They want to get rid of my unit there because it's going to get the power up for my Blessing down here. We have more than 70. That's more than I was expecting. Newer games are a tough sell. So you can see the skulls in the center of the screen here indicate how many actions the current player still has remaining in their turn. Fargeist. So actually this is going to be a sweet interaction here. So you'll see here this card says when it turns to its second corner, it removes the highlighted unit, so it would remove my guy. But I would like my guy to not get removed, so I'm going to go ahead and play my Triumphant Smash here, which you can see it lights up the lane when you drop it on it. And Triumphant Smash not only removes their unit, but it rotates my unit backwards. So basically I'm going to get to reuse my guy and do a little bit more. And you can see this thing is ticking through every time we deal damage here, which is nice. And I don't really have anything else I want to play out. See, I'm looking for an ability card for this guy, because I want to play an ability on here before this guy gets all used up. So I'm just going to end my turn and draw a card. Are you able to affect their champions directly? Yes, some of your things affect champions directly. It depends on what the text are. This is on mobile. I'm actually streaming using an Android emulator, so you can install this now from both the Android and iOS stores, and Amazon store as well, I think. So they gain a health, and they shuffle some units from the discard pile back into their deck. Yep. Yeah, and it's free to play, so you can install it and play through the tutorial and get a feel for it. There's also If you want to read through the rules here, they have quick play rules that are pretty quick. We have a Blessed Weapons here. All right, so this is going to turn its corner to 2, which is going to remove my guy next turn. But I actually have this absurdly powerful card in my hand, which says it just straight up deals 6 damage to my opponent, which is kind of great. And I can only play this if they've removed one of my units. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play Barrier Guard here. And Barrier Guard prevents up to 3 damage from these 3 lanes, so I'm not going to take damage from this. And then I'm just going to go ahead and draw a card here, I think. Actually, if this deals damage... Oh, it always removes the unit. So this is going to turn. It's going to go to its second corner, which removes my unit. And then it's going to try and deal 2. But my Barrier Guard is going to say, nope, don't deal damage to me. Yeah, definitely, Gigo. I mean, every TCG would benefit from those types of hoverovers. It's definitely tougher to follow card games with without knowing all the cards going on. Animalman, thank you for the 7-month reset. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I've been playing. This has been like my go-to on mobile. So this thing deals damage on its second corner, which gets plus tier, but then this reduces damage and this reduces damage. So it's actually only going to deal 2 to my opponent here, which is unfortunate. The stream noises are a bit loud compared to you and the game noises. Unfortunately, I don't have a good way to mute that. Nice work setting up the emulator stream here. Been enjoying this game. Awesome, Frank. Yeah, this is, if you're looking for a new mobile game to try, I'd highly recommend this one. So this card explicitly can only be played on a turn where someone's removed my unit. Hey, Red Mulligan, thanks for the support. So I get to deal 5 there with that, which is a ton of damage. And then I could play Barrier Guard here, but it wouldn't prevent any damage, but it would trigger my last quest here, which would flip my card over. So I think that's worthwhile. My remaining quests are a card that deals 6 damage, a card that deals 4 damage, and a card that deals 4 spread out over a course of turns. Oh, what does this card do? At the start of their turn, if they have 5 health or less, they gain 1. That's pretty good. Oh, that's brutal. So this card deals 4 damage to me, and then it shuffles 2 cards from my hand back into my deck. So the Blessing cards are pretty rough. If we hit the right Blessing under here, they actually die on our turn here, which is sweet. This game theme-based? Yeah, this is based on the Warhammer world. So this is going to flip and deal 2 damage to my opponent, putting them to 4, which is then going to trigger this Blessing here. And if this Blessing, 2 of my 3 Blessings that are remaining kill them here. So one of them deals 6, one deals 4, and then one deals 4 over the course of 2 turns. So we got a 2/3 chance of killing them when this Blessing flips here. Sweet. So this card does 4 damage, and it actually kicks itself up to dealing 9 damage if they don't have a thing here. Yeah, the damage goes directly to the other player. So the way you interact with units on the board is to play cards that say like remove units or block positioning of units and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm playing an aggressive deck right now. Yeah, the gameplay is really interesting. I've been liking it a lot. I think I was gonna post. Did I post in here or not? I think I was gonna post in this Facebook group that I was gonna stream for a little bit. So there's no ranked play right now, just casual. There's supposed to be ranked play opening towards the end of the month. Yeah, I'm using an Android emulator to stream this. What's the card level stuff that pops about? So this game, one of the things that's really sweet about this game is there's physical cards, which mine are actually all downstairs by my other computer, so I don't have any on hand. But you scan your physical cards into the app, and then when you're playing with paper cards in the digital app, your paper cards have a level attached to them that you earn extra in-game rewards basically for playing with paper cards. Yeah, and the paper digital crossover is really slick. So, yeah, this is only mobile currently. They're supposed to be releasing on Steam at some point, but they're currently on Android and iOS only. Yep, yeah, they released today. Yep, we're in a different room and a different mic on. I'm actually on my old computer. I need to get a second decent microphone for up here. So Wednesday nights, Christy plays D&D downstairs. So I am currently streaming from upstairs. Yeah, you don't have to have paper cards at all. But you can also, like, I've bought a number of paper singles just to scan in. But you can just put money in and buy digital. I actually bought their $100 pack of gems to buy a bunch of packs with. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Here's to 15 months. Put this one towards another copy of Green Black Elves in the queue. Will do. Thank you for the support. Full Metal, can you do me a solid and message me a reminder to do that? Because I'm not at my normal computer with my notes and stuff on it. I'm actually streaming with only 2 monitors, like some kind of peasant. Indicium, thank you for the bits. I appreciate that. Did I miss a message? Is my thing not working? Yeah, the starting positioning pregame is interesting. Like, I actually kind of foobarred my starting positioning here, like guesstimating where they were going to go, because this champion has extra text explicitly when he's across from other units, and my opponent has a champion here that doesn't have units on it. So I'm going to want to reposition my Protector Prime to be in front of someone with units here, ideally. Blue-red tempo rod. So, what do I want to do here? This is going to deal some damage to me over the course of the next couple turns. I think I'm going to go ahead and play out my Paladin here, which completes the first quest, and then Tactical Formation is a card we didn't see last game. So this card lets me reposition one of my champions. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, and then swap him over with this unit, so that way he's in front of a thing that's going to be deploying units. That way his alternate text has more impact. I mean, I don't really have anything useful to put where the Twitch chat is. Yeah, I didn't see your bits message in chats either, Indicium, which I thought was like, did I miss something? Like, I was confused. The bits definitely came through. So this thing is going to draw them 2 cards next turn. Yeah, this will be on YouTube, Nicholas. So I'm going to play my Raptors here, and then I'm going to go ahead and Triumphant Smash to remove this guy so they don't draw cards from it. And that completes my second quest. And the way the sequencing works here is one of the reasons why this aggro deck is able to win so quickly and work so well is because this minion, or this unit or champion, whatever we call them, unit. They're called units in this game. This unit is going to complete 2 quests on this champion. So it completed the first quest here when I played it, and then because I played an ability right away, when this turns to its second corner, it completes the damage quest for me, which is nice. So quests are the things in each of these corners here. So every champion in the game has 4 specific things that it needs to do, and when you do all of them in the correct order, you get to flip over a blessing card that has a powerful effect that's stronger than one of the other cards that you put in your deck that you actually drawn. So I didn't actually talk about the starting health. The starting health total is really sweet. So everybody kind of starts at 30, but the champions that you pick for your deck impact your starting health total. So for instance, if I look at this champion, you'll see there's a green 5 and a red -1. The -1 is how it impacts my starting health total, and the 5 is a deck building requirement. So this guy takes me -1 from 30. This guy takes me -2, -2, -1. So my deck actually only starts at 24 health. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the Stormcast unit here, which completes this quest. Yeah, it is. So, and the most health you can have to start is 35. So there's a hard limit of 35 health. You can't heal above 35. Oh yeah, if you click this, it shows you. Oh, it does show you all the numbers. I didn't realize it showed you the health total numbers too. I know it showed how many cards were in hands and decks and stuff. It's going on a sec. No, I'm playing against another person. Yes, each card you play can only complete 1 action. So they actually have a bunch of cards in their hand right now. They have 8. So this card does extra damage, assuming my opponent has no units in play, so it gets all the way up to 5. I think I'm gonna go ahead and play this out here, just so I can like work my way through this quest, because I want to play this ability this turn. So this guy normally prevents damage, so he's not going to be able to prevent any damage next turn, but he does complete my quest, and then playing this Opportunity Strike completes the ability quest and deals 5 here. So this spell, when it ticks all the way through, it deals 4 damage and gains them 4 health, so I'm probably going to Triumphant Smash that next turn, so that way it doesn't complete. So cards that take, or spells that take longer to tick through all their corners tend to be more powerful, but they give your opponent more time to respond and react to them, basically. And they have a bunch of cards in their hand here, so depending on, especially the more controlling and mid-range decks, a lot of the time you'll spend the first couple of turns drawing up a bunch of cards, so you can kind of like form a game plan in your head, and then take the next few turns like playing out all of your cards in the correct sequence based on what the collection of cards is in your hand. The deck that I'm playing is pretty much almost 50% units. Hey, Jonathan, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime support there. I appreciate that. Welcome. This is a new game called Warhammer TCG. It's on Android and iOS for digital, and it also is a paper card game as well. Okay, so they played a card here that lets them force their spell through to completion, so I don't have a chance to smash it. Yeah, the sequencing choices are really cool, and the positioning aspect that the cards have allows the game to have a lot of depth to it while still existing on a small screen, basically. So this Divine Vengeance card here, again, can only be played if they've just removed my unit, so I'm going to go ahead and play this here because they just removed my unit here, so it just like straight up domes them for 6. It also completes my third quest corner there, which is nice. And then they don't have anything that I want to remove with this, so we'll just draw a card. All card games can be tough to follow if you don't know what all of the cards do. So the important thing to know is that basically every turn, all of these cards that have circles in the corner, they rotate through. So this card, when they play it, it heals them 1. The next turn it turns and it heals them 2. The next turn it turns and it heals them 3. And then it turns and disappears. So they're gaining some health back up here, which kind of sucks. That's the inverse of what we want our aggro deck to do. They're stabilizing a little bit. One of the things I really like about this game is I really feel like every game that I play, I get a chance to actually play a game. There aren't any games where like you stumble and die or flood and die, and there aren't really games where you don't get to make any decisions for the most part. If your deck's built well, there aren't games where you just don't make any decisions. So I drew a Stormcast unit here, which means I can complete the last quest on this champion. But the downside to completing this quest is one of my 3 remaining blessings does extra damage if my opponent doesn't have a card here. So I'm kind of incentivized to wait to complete this quest until my opponent doesn't have a card in front of this. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and draw 2 here. I kind of want to like pick up some more units so I can like get the rest of these quests going. So like this guy needs a Stormcast unit. This guy needs an ability played and then to deal damage. Yeah, the health total is a little bit more representative of who's actually winning in this game compared to Magic. In my experience, at least. My limited experience. This game as a whole, it's not just the digital that just released too, so this game as a whole is very new. So I talked about wanting to wait to complete this until there wasn't a thing here, but I think I'm going to risk it at this point because playing this unit here prevents damage from this zombie. You can see it highlights again the lanes where the damage is reduced. You can download it on the Apple Store and Google Play, as well as the Amazon App Store, I believe. So that was, I guess that maybe I shouldn't have done that because it was a little bit of a non-bow here. So this card deals 2 damage the first 2 times it turns, and then the units across from it are dormant, which means they don't do anything. So I kind of wanted this to deal damage because I have the damage prevention, but now it's dormant. So it like slows their thing down, but it kind of has a negative impact on what I want to do. No, the card that is underneath. So I know which 4 blessings are in my deck, but I don't know which position or which lane those blessings are contained in. Oh, is it not on? Is it not on iOS yet? I thought they said it released on iOS. I thought that's what their tweet said. Oh, this is called Warhammer Champion. So this guy's going to go ahead and deal some damage, and then this guy's going to deal some damage. And then this unit here says when it turns, it's going to remove my unit. So I'm going to actually Triumphant Smash here to get rid of this because I would like my unit to hang out. And then you can see here, this guy has 2 quests left to complete. He needs an ability played and then to deal damage. So I'm going to go ahead and play my piercing shot here because that completes the ability quest. And then next turn, if they don't get rid of my unit here, this guy's going to rotate and complete the damage quest and flip this over. Nope, yeah, you can draw 1, play 1, and they had a way to remove my guy, which sucks for me a little bit. So you can draw 1, play 1, you can just draw 2, you can play 2, so you can mix and match your 2 actions kind of however you want. So this blessing rolled off. Yep, Warhammer AOS Champions, that is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and play this unit here, and you can see again it highlights the lanes where its effect is going to impact. So if I play this on this guy, it's going to prevent damage from this vampire next turn. And when this turns to its next corner, it's going to deal damage and flip this blessing over. You can see that does a grand total of nothing. And one of the things I'm really having, and this is one of the reasons why I find the game really interesting coming from playing a lot of other card games, is I'm still having a difficult time like recognizing like when I'm ahead and when I'm behind in a given game on here. Because like I feel like I'm kind of ahead here, but the fact that they have cards in hand is a really big deal. So they played this ability here even though it didn't deal damage because they wanted to complete their quest here. Is it expensive to be competitive or do we? We have no idea, Mark. This deck that I'm playing right now is pretty cheap to build. There's only 1 rare in it. Ooh, and then they are almost dead here. So that flipped my quest over, so they're down to 2 now, which is sweet. I think I'm just playing my Paladin out here and then passing the turn. I think I'm going to pass the turn here. And if you want to see all of the cards that are in this current deck that I'm playing, this is a link to the thing. Oh, this heals them and this heals them. I forgot about that. This game is nothing like Magic. The way the game plays out is just completely just different from Magic. So this is going to heal them for 1 next turn because every turn this heals them for 1. This is going to draw them 2 cards next turn. I think I'm just going to draw 2 here. We just need we have a couple of different ways to like push some burst damage, and I'd really like to do that to just end the game. We're unfortunately not finding any ways to push some burst damage. This guy's going to deal 2 and then 3 though, which is nice. Hopefully they play a unit across from my Paladin here because then I can play Triumphant Smash and then complete this quest and kill them. Yeah, this game's actually only on mobile at the moment. Ooh, so like I said, blessings are really powerful. So this card makes all of my units dormant, which means they just don't rotate or deal damage or have any impact. So for this turn, next turn, and the turn after, my units just don't do anything. It's in a full release. They had a full release this morning. So you can see my unit is just gray because it's not going to do anything because of this. I guess I just draw 2 here. Okay, so piercing shot is actually exactly what we wanted to draw here. So this guy is only 2 parts away from completing his quest here, and I can Triumphant Smash to complete this quest, and then I can Rending Shot to deal the damage quest, and then the last blessing I have under here deals 4 damage to my opponent. So Rending Shot plus the 4 damage from here should be lethal. And actually, it's gonna be more than that because Triumphant Smash is gonna get rid of this, and the blessing that I have under here deals 9 damage if their unit is disengaged. So I believe I'm hitting them for 12 here. So we Triumphant Smash to remove this unit, which completes my quest down here. And then we Rending Shot. So the damage quest can be completed with either abilities that deal damage or your units that deal damage. So this does 3, and then it flips my blessing over, which deals 9. Did ya? Oh, sweet. It's pretty rare that you win with all your units being dormant in this deck, because obviously, like, it's a deck full of units. Ooh, we completed my quest. I get gold. It was definitely a pew-pew type moment. Oh, did I get a shiny to open? I did get a war chest to open. One of the things that's neat in this game, too, if you pick it up, if you look in the Warhammer channel in the Discord chat, or just in lots of Warhammer stuff, there's these booster card things that you can scan that other people post that come in the starter decks. And if you scan booster cards, you get free stuff in the game. So where is my... There's my booster card. So my booster cards have been scanned 2,000 some odd times from lots of different people. And the other people's cards that you scan and stuff all give you free stuff in game, which is sweet. What are my missions? I had a couple of missions. I think I had one play order cards. Yeah, so I probably play at least one more with the order deck, because I need to play 8 more order cards to complete that. Yeah, the paper gameplay is identical to digital, and when you buy a card in paper or open a card in paper in a booster pack, you get the same exact card in digital. You scan the card into the app. And if you say want to trade that card later, you can then unclaim that card and trade the digital copy with the physical card that you're trading. Yeah, it'll definitely be on YouTube, Spazzel. Stay safe wherever you're at. And I plan to create a short how to play video. I just haven't had time to do that. How long do I expect to play for? I don't know, maybe another 45 minutes or so. I'm not going to be on super long. And Christy's gaming group usually plays about 9:30 or 10, which is about 45 minutes from now. Yeah, don't post pictures of your cards online until you scan them, because other people can scan your cards from the pictures. There's blessing cards from each faction you can only get from the starter deck. Sure, I mean, you could craft them in digital, though, or you could buy them in paper, just buy singles. So opponent places 1 champion, then I place 2, then they place 1. So again, I want to prioritize putting my Protectorate Primes across from their things that play units, because this guy reduces damage from their units that they play. And I also want to prioritize putting this guy adjacent to my other things, that way he gives them rend when they attack, which is nice. Although I guess this removes rend from my guys, right? Ignore rend. Yeah, so these kind of negate each other. Yeah, the prices on physical cards are also kind of wacky at the moment, too, because they didn't expect this game to be as popular as it was, and they ran out of their first print run really quickly and haven't delivered the second physical print run to stores yet. So the cards sold out a bunch of places, and they haven't backfilled them yet, basically. So I mentioned this a little bit when I was talking about the numbers on my units, but so when I hold this, it pulls the numbers up. So you can see the green numbers on my units there, 5, 5, 2, and 2, they total 14. So when you're building a deck, you can have a total of 20 points between all the things you pick out, but it's not always optimal to get as close to 20 as possible, because sometimes you just want specific effects, or you just want specific quests that are easier than others to complete. I never actually played Soulforge. Was that did that have positioning type stuff like this too? Yeah, Vorus, he's the one that resets everything, right? I found that I just wanted it to be easier to complete my quest than he allowed. This it does damage to my opponent, and it does 3 more if this guy does not control a unit. So I'm going to want to get a unit down here at some point. Honestly, I might want to just play this out right now. None of these rotate their things faster, right? No. I might just wait a hot second. Yeah, I'm just going to draw 2 cards here, and I can actually fully prevent the damage from this. Maybe I should have played this out this turn. So I'm going to play, next turn, I'm going to play the Stormstrike Fulminator here, which reduces the damage. And then I'm going to play Arcanian Barrier Guard here, which reduces damage. So it's going to reduce this 4 all the way down to 0. So let's go ahead and play this here. And then it's possible I should have played this down last turn because I can't play an ability here, which means this guy's not going to get to deal damage to complete the damage quest because you have to complete the quests in order. So just 0 that guy out. This card's really annoying. This is actually a card that we're playing too, so it does 1 damage and then 2 damage, but it negates the ability for the guy you played across from to be able to play any kind of cards out. The rules on picking champions are you can have up to 2 of the same champion unless they're unique. And you can tell if they're unique because they'll have a U in the corner. So like Lotan here is unique. Yeah, so my kind of poor sequencing on my part here. I think I'm just going to draw 2 cards here. Yeah, I'm just going to draw 2 cards. I got you, Chef Seth. So hopefully they play a unit on this lane here, so that way I can Triumphant Smash it and then rotate this back. This does damage to me when you take 1 or more damage if the highlighted unit controls a beast. It does 3. Oh, so if they play a beast here, not only are they going to complete the quest, but it's going to damage me when I tilt this back, which kind of sucks, I guess. Yeah. We're going to deal 4, take 3 here, but then I'm going to smash this unit off, which is decent for us. Yeah, I'm streaming from my upstairs computer right now, so I don't have my nice setup like I do downstairs at the moment. So I'm going to Triumphant Smash here, which takes this unit off, and then it rotates this guy back. So this basically does 4 extra points of damage, which is really awesome. And then they have no units in play here, so I'm going to go ahead and Opportunity Strike here, which is going to deal 5 to them. And then roll this guy to the damage quest. So if this guy rotates off next turn and deals 4 damage, I'm going to complete my quest here. There is not a limit to how many cards you can have in your hand, but there are a couple of cards in the game that punish you for having too many cards in your hand. So hopefully, fingers crossed. Oh, they pulled my guy off here. I was going to say, my quest that's under here isn't the one that needs no unit across from me. I might actually just pass the turn here. I think I'm just going to draw 2. I guess I could play this here. Yeah, that gets my Stormcast out of the way, and it gives me a little bit of time to play abilities on here. Because I don't really need cards. What's going on, Cryptic? Or Cruel Ultimatum. That's Cruel Ultimatum. Hey, Tino. Thanks for the bits. I appreciate that. So this guy is just, negating all the damage from this entirely. It's just, every time a unit deals damage, I take 1 less. So, kind of controlling out of the opponent. This says I can't deploy units here, which is a little annoying. Oh, it is Nico Bolas, isn't it? You're right. So, this is kind of slick. So, what I get to do here is, I get to tactical formation here. Hey, JW Ryan, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. And then I'm going to swap this guy into this lane where I normally can't place units because of this. But he's already got a unit on him, so he kind of gets in there under the wire. And now this guy, putting him in front of someone that's going to deal damage, he's going to soak up some damage here, which is nice. And then I think I'm actually going to go ahead and play this out here and just get this quest rolling. Nope, there's no mana. So basically how the game actions work is every turn you can do 2 things. You can either play it, and those things are either play a card, use what's called a heroic action, which my deck doesn't have any of those, or you can draw a card. So you can like play one card, draw one card. You could play 2 cards, draw nothing. You could draw 2 cards, etc. So the turn flows pretty quickly because while there are a few things that allow you to play extra cards or take extra abilities in a turn, they're kind of few and far between. So most of the time, everybody's just doing 2 things in a turn. So these guys deal their damage. And then I think this turn I'm actually just passing. I would kind of like to Triumphant Smash this, but this actually says I can't play abilities on this lane. So I don't have anything to trigger the damage on here. And even if I could trigger the damage on here, I kind of don't want to. Oh, actually, you know what's a good line? I get to go ahead and Triumphant Smash here, which takes their unit out here, and then it rotates my guy back, and when this guy rotates back, he deals a damage, which completes my quest. Yeah, and this blessing deals 6 and gains me 2. That's a pretty big swing there. So they're down to 7, and this guy's going to deal 2 and 3 still yet, which is great for us. Yeah, I'm going to end the turn here. Pick up a card. And this guy just has a damage quest left, so I can actually play down my Hurricane Raptor next turn and deal damage with this, which would be sweet. Yeah, I like this resource system better than Epic's too. I agree, Brickhouse. So drawing cards ends your turn. So if you choose to draw cards, your turn has ended, basically. Ooh, Star Drake is really good. So this removes one of my units when it happens. So this is going to deal 5 to me and remove one of my units, which kind of sucks. But I guess I can actually tactical formation this guy over to here to kind of change the positioning, which is nice. So I can swap. Oh, I'm dumb. Tactical formation says it has to be disengaged. Oh, that's a pretty big punt. All right, well, hopefully this is lethal then. If this has my deal 9 underneath it, they're dead. It does not. That's unfortunate. All right, so I'm going to take 5 here. I could be dead. Oh, no, I'm only taking 4 because my guy prevents it. So we're actually in a pretty good spot here now because they're at 6, and this is dealing 4, and this is extra damage. I think they're dead, actually. On the Chaos Fast Quest deck. I haven't played it yet. So this does 4, and then this does 4, so they're actually dead. Got him. The integration of importing and exporting decks is really slick in this game. If you installed the app and you played through the intro and you want to see how far off you'd be from building this deck, you can click on this link and click Open Deck and App, and it'll show you which cards you need to craft for it, or which cards you need to obtain. If you need to play one more order card, what a tilt. All new games seem complicated when you first start. This game's actually incredibly simple to explain, but offers a lot of depth through all the positioning mechanics. So, if you take a quick peek over here, all of the rules of the game and explaining how the cards work actually fit on 2 pages. Like, the amount of time it would take me to teach someone that doesn't know how to play this game versus someone that doesn't know how to play Magic to play, learning this game is much, much faster. Yeah, once you play and get a feel for it, it's super slick. And like I really love how it highlights like what areas, like what lanes this card's gonna impact. It makes it figuring out really easy. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, Bolas. Is it the same person we just played against? It might be. So I'm again just gonna position these across from their guys that have units. So, the last guy goes to the default. So, I'm on the play here. On the play here, we just get to be super aggressive. So I'm going to go ahead and drop Hurricane Raptor here. And again, getting to complete the quest with... whenever you get to complete 2 quests with 1 card in the aggro decks, I feel like I'm super ahead. So this guy playing him completes the first quest. And then playing Piercing Shot completes the ability quest. And then when this card rotates next turn to deal damage on its second corner, its number 2 corner, it'll complete the 3rd quest. And then I just need to play a Stormcast unit here after that to finish it off. So each player takes turns taking action. So my turn is 2 actions, then my opponent's turn is 2 actions. And when I play my cards, I choose which lane I want to play them out on. Each champion can only have 1 unit in front of it. So for instance, because this champion has a unit in front of it, I can't play another until this unit rotates off or is removed. You can see they played a unit here that normally deals 1 damage, but my champion has the special ability that it reduces damage from those. And you can see when this turned, it completed this damage quest like I talked about. So I could play some things out here, but I don't really have anything advantageous from doing so. This card just prevents damage, it doesn't deal damage. So I'm going to choose to just end my turn and pick 2 cards up here. One of the things I really like about this game in terms of drawing cards, the fact that you draw cards at the end of your turn for the most part, means that you get a lot more leeway to plan out your following turn. This next turn is actually going to be really sick for us. So these cards deal 2 damage on their final corners, which normally would get past to prevent 1 here. But I'm going to get to go ahead and play this Paladin Protector out, so it's going to negate the damage from both of these cards. So like effectively have like reduced the value from these cards. And this is a Stormcast unit, so it completes this final quest. I actually might get rid of... Sweet, there wasn't. The card that... There's a card in this deck that deals... that hibernates things, basically, and it's really annoying when you flip that with a Paladin Protector. I think I'm just going to pass here. I'm just going to draw a card. So these dorks will each rotate, and they'll try and deal 2 damage, and my Protector will just be like, no, no, nothing for you. So why did your guy go away that was in that lane? Yep, they die once they're done with all their corners. So when they go past their 4th corner, or if they don't have a 3rd or 4th corner, when they get to a blank spot, they disappear. They expend, I believe is the keyword, off. I am streaming in my living room. So Christy, when I built my new streaming computer, we put the old one upstairs. It's actually where Christy usually streams from. But she's downstairs playing... D&D with her friends this evening, so I am streaming from up here. This spell is absurdly powerful, so it ticks through and then eventually deals 4 and gains them 4. So what do I want? I think so I have how many cards in my deck? I have 23 cards in my deck, and I haven't drawn any of my 3 copies of the card that gets rid of a card. So I think I'm actually just going to draw 2 here in the hopes that we find a Triumphant Smash to get rid of this spell. Sweet, and we found 1. So next turn I'm going to get to go ahead and play a Paladin Decimator here and then Triumphant Smash off the spell. Yeah, this is a low quality headset mic. I need to... I'm gonna grab a second Blue Yeti for up here, I think, if I'm going to stream from up here on occasion. So Juju could be. This is a physical game as well, so it's got a lot of things going on behind it. It's also got Games Workshop behind it, so that's a much bigger company than like Hexent was, right? I think they're playing 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and play. I'm actually gonna play the 1/4. Nah, I'm gonna play this out. I'm gonna play out my Paladin Decimator here, which completes the first quest. And then I unfortunately don't get value off the Triumphant Smash rotating this backwards because it's at its starting corner, but I do get rid of their spell and complete my next quest, which is nice. Yeah, the game has a lot going on. Like I said, it's contained in a small board, which makes it good for mobile, but the way the positioning and the timing on everything works, it gives you a lot of depth and really allows you to plan ahead nicely, which I like. I think this game actually does have mythic rares, but I don't know if they have actions. So... the way the cards work is there's champions and blessings that have different rarities, and those cards you don't need as many copies of them. So, again, my opponent played this card where I can't play units, but I can play a unit here and then tactical formation him in. Yeah, Hex was a good game. I liked Hex too. 3 a copy is a max for your main deck. So I'm going to go ahead and swap this Dorko into here, which again is now going to prevent damage from this guy. So I'm basically just, every time, because you have a finite number of actions every turn, every time one of your cards can do something plus negate one of their cards, that's slowly how you get ahead, it feels like. So like, this card both completed a quest, and it's negating the damage that this card is doing. So I'm kind of getting one up on my opponent through that. Hex basically ran out of money. They were a small indie game that just ran out of finances. I think I'm just going to draw 2 here. Playing this out doesn't really accomplish anything. I want to hold the Stormcast unit to complete this quest over here potentially at some point. I guess if I tactical formation this dork over to another lane, when this rotates to its last thing, it's going to complete the last quest next turn, so maybe that's worthwhile. I take 1 more point of damage, but I get to complete my quest. That's probably worthwhile. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm going to swap him in with this one, because that way it'll still prevent 1 damage. And then I'm going to go ahead and pass. Oh, I guess I could have played this out on... No, because this only swaps with a disengaged unit. So next turn, assuming they don't remove my guys, this is going to deal 3. This is going to deal 4 and complete this quest here. And then we might just not do anything. We might just draw 2 cards while we wait for a turn. So that does that, and this flips over for 6, and then this does 3, and they are dead. 3 is the max copy, Big Mama. So blessings, you only need 1 copy of each blessing. Champions, you need at most 2 or 1 if they're unique, and then actions in your deck is 3. And that completes my order quest as well, I believe, to play 30 order cards. Sweet. Get some freebies. Are the quests being completed per card, or is it a blanket mechanic? Yeah, so I'd actually show a card here really quick and talk about that. Let's